Hey, so this last Saturday, Caroline and I hosted a mission statement workshop at Awaken Church. This is the replay. The audio got cut out at the first portion of it. We didn't have audio on it, but it picks up pretty early on in the workshop. We've trimmed out a lot of the discussion piece and just kind of added a 10-second timer. So you can pause it and do the work, and then we'll put the PDF and the fillable Word doc in there as well, so you can follow along afterwards in case you missed it. Hope this is really great. The full cut time is just under 50 minutes. So if you want to sit down and do it by yourself or do it with a spouse or your family later, you totally can. I'm excited and would love to hear how it goes for you. Thanks.
You will be faced with an internal choice of what mission you want to be focusing on today. The mission statement can be very large, and it can focus on big problems, and it can focus on kind of like your overall life. Like, when I reach the end of my life, I want to have been this person. I want to have accomplished this. Or it could be small and focus on a problem that is immediate in the next hour. Like, I'm terrible at hydrating myself. I need to drink more water. They can literally be as small as that. One is not better than the other. They're both worthy and important. And the small missions that you have in your life will oftentimes form these building blocks to accomplish the larger mission in your life. So there's the big mission in your life is kind of like that North Star that you're just constantly walking towards. And the smaller missions are going to be those steps to that North Star. So as you're walking through these prompts, one of those might come to mind and just be more prevalent in your mind. Let's focus on that one, the one that you are most burdened by today. Hone in on that mission for today. And it's not going to be in competition with your grander mission in life, or if that's the one that you're focusing on today, that's great. And then you can take these questions, you can take what you learned today and apply it whenever you want to write a mission statement. Next week you might be like, actually, I really want to address this, and you can go through these same prompts to write yourself a new mission statement. That's a grand mission statement or a small mission statement.
Yeah. Expect it to evolve. It is okay that it will evolve. Yes. Part of the cool thing about this is that we want to teach you a framework for being able to do it. So it's not necessarily that you're going to do it now and then this is the compass that you're going to fly the rest of your life. Expect it to evolve, because clarity will always breed clarity. So the more clarity you have, the better vantage points you have, the more clarity you'll be able to achieve. So,
Yes, we wrote our mission statement last year, and then when we revisited it this year, the first thing Stephen said, we can tighten this up a bit. So there is constant evolving.
Yeah. Cool. So I just need the paper. So if you go to the next page, it's the multicolored one. It's very pretty. This will walk you through the actual framework and then do some examples. So the mission statement framework that we're going to walk through today is in 3 parts. It's not complicated. It's a logical story format of 3 parts. So the first part is identifying the problem. I said earlier we're going to spend some time on the problem, and it's okay if we spend a lot of time on it just because it's a very critical part of where we're going, and if we miss it, the rest of it doesn't make as much sense. So the first part is always identifying the problem. The second part is always stating what you, your family, your life is doing about that specific problem. If this was in the corporate world, this would be the product or the service that they offer, right? And you are the product. You are the thing that's standing in the gap. Every single mission is to accomplish something because something is wrong. There is some injustice in the world. There is something tragic or difficult or broken, and you're standing in the gap to correct it. There's an anecdote about mission statements that if Mel Gibson can't yell it from the back of a horse and inspire a bunch of people to go to war, it's not a mission statement. Like, it has to inspire people to get out of bed, summon energy, and accomplish some injustice. And so that's why we start with the problem, and then the second part is the whatever the solution is of what you're doing about it. The third part is what the outcome looks like on the other side. At the end of the day, we are working toward a different kind of world. Your life is working toward a different kind of world. If the world was as it should be, there would be no purpose in a mission. There's nothing to accomplish. Things are fine. The status quo is acceptable. What we're saying when we say we want to write a mission statement is the status quo is not acceptable. There is something wrong, there is something broken, and you are the answer to something broken in the world, which is cool if you know it. It's really cool if you can articulate it. It's really cool if you can rally people around you and rally resources around you to be able to accomplish it. So those are the 3 parts, and we're going to proceed through them in that order. There's a few prompts on the problem, and then we're going to ask you to translate it into a sentence. And then there's a few prompts on the product or what you're doing about it. We're going to ask you to translate that into a sentence. Same thing on the outcome. Translate it into a sentence. We're going to put it all together. And I'm really excited to hear kind of what the missions are that are on your heart in this room. We'll do some time where we're sharing with each other as well. So the examples below are some that we created. The last 2, the second to last is our family mission, and then the last one is my personal mission. But we'll just walk through some of these examples. So the first one, there are families in our neighborhood who don't know that God loves them. Our family seeks out relationships with our literal neighbors so the kingdom of God can advance right where we live. Like that's a clarifying thing that rallies you around a specific thing.
The second one is an example of a seasonal mission statement. My depression is getting in the way of me being who I was created to be. For the next 3 months, I'm going to attend therapy consistently and follow my therapist's advice so I can have the chance to heal and get involved in the things that I love again.
Yeah. Another one, a lot of couples struggle with communication in the first few years of their marriage. My wife and I form friendships with new couples to help them love God and each other deeply so they can have a marriage that lasts.
A lot of single people waste this important season of their lives because they aren't satisfied until they are in a relationship. During my season of singleness, no matter how long it is, I will focus my attention on what God is doing now so I can be the kind of person God created me to be.
There are international students coming to study in Jacksonville who would otherwise be nearly impossible to reach for the gospel. That's true. Our family welcomes in international students into our homes and shares the love of Jesus with them so the nations can be impacted from our kitchen table.
And this one is one we designed for high school students, but it can apply if you're in college or if you're in a job too where there's things that you don't really love that are a part of your job. There are a lot of classes I have to take in high school that don't actually matter for my career plans. I am going to be diligent in doing my best in them anyway, so I can become the kind of person who applies myself at whatever is in front of me.
You want to do the next one too?
Sure. This one is for our family. Life has a way of beating people up. Our family invites people in and gives them sanctuary so they can heal, rest, and continue on their mission with clarity and joy.
Yeah, so that one's our family mission statement, and then my personal one fits into that. I do enjoy hosting people. I love that that's what our family is about. When I think specifically about the way that God's created me, the mission statement that I've done personally for my life is too many people misunderstand themselves, others, and God. I communicate complicated things clearly so people have the tools to break free of whatever's holding them back. So anytime an opportunity presents itself where I can communicate something which was complicated in a clear way, or anytime I see someone who is having a misunderstanding about themselves internally, others, or God, that's my cue. Like that's the rallying banner flag that goes up. Anytime we see beat up people, tired people, weary people, like the flag goes up and we're like, oh, that's mission. Like that's on mission. Could you give them the call? And so that's the hope is that is what we'll do today. So I'm going to do an intro into part 1, and we're going to talk through some of the prompts. So you're welcome to discuss if you're here with someone else and you're creating kind of a corporate mission statement. It's a good time to discuss with them. You can also, if you want, you can do parallel. You can do a family or a couple mission statement, or you can do an individual one as well. Just depending on what you want to do. So either is fine. So there's this quote by Albert Einstein, which I am now considering as a tattoo. I'm joking. I don't have any tattoos yet. But the quote is, everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler, which I like a lot. So the first part is a lot of you were here on Sunday and may have been thinking about missions or mission statements this week. If that's the case, I don't want to derail whatever it is that you've been thinking about. So that first section is, if there's something that you've already come prompted and you're like, you know what, when you was talking about last week, this is kind of what I think the mission statement is. We've actually taken a stab at it. Write it down. Like, that's good. So write it down there and just make sure that it's there. If not, do not worry about it. Everything else is proceeding through the prompts. So prompts for families and couples. So if you're here as a couple, these are prompts for you. So the first one is looking ahead. What are things, what are you excited about your family being about? Imagine what it might look like. Why do you think it excites you? So just literally looking forward toward the coming seasons. Could be a year, could be decades, could be a lifetime. What are things that you are both excited about, that you're excited that your family can be about? Second one is, when have we felt healthiest in our relationships, or most like a teammate with each other? Think about specific times, events, and places. Because usually when you feel like you're paired up well with your spouse, with your significant other, it's when you guys are on mission. It's when you're both facing the same direction and running at the same pace, and that can be a really good indicator of when you were on the same page. And that could be a really good indicator of a common mission that you guys can share. And the third one is, we feel especially bothered when we see this happening. It could be internally in your relationship. It could be externally. Like, we as a couple are bothered by the rate of homelessness in Jacksonville. It just bugs us. Like, that's something we're both passionate about. That's a really good indicator. So what are things that you are both passionate about, or problems that you are specifically bothered by?
And if you are writing a mission statement for you personally, the prompts for this one is, I am excited about the person I am becoming when I am, fill in the blank. I feel especially bothered when I see blank happening. And I feel really alive when I fill in the blank. So those are cues to finding what you were made to be. And sometimes the cue is anger. Sometimes the cue is, I feel really angry when I see kids not being loved by their parents, and so I work as a teacher to love children and help them in their education.
Yeah.
Sometimes it comes through as excitement of, I feel really excited when I'm teaching a kid and I see that light bulb go on in their little eyes, and they're like, they got it. So sometimes the cue can be frustration, sometimes it can be excitement. So we're kind of coming at it from both angles there.
Yeah, and you may find that this is clarifying something you're already passionate about. It may not be discovery, it may just be clarifying and bringing something into focus. The next piece that we'll want to roll through, so we'll probably do about 5 minutes of you guys doing those prompts, and if you need help, literally just wave. We'll kind of be quiet for about five minutes or so, and you're just welcome to work. Then Caroline and I may roam around and just kind of touch base and see how you guys are doing. And then from there, we're going to roll straight into writing it down into a sentence. So once you have those prompts, kind of look at it together, look at it individually, talk with other people at your table, and see, hey, is there a focused problem that we can focus on? Has something become clear through those prompts? And if so, the goal is to say it accurately and in as many words as possible. I'm a huge fan of concise. This is not the step for concise. Say it right and use as many words as you need to say it right. We'll tighten up that later, but just use as many words as you need to say it accurately. We've included a few prompts for sentences of how you might want to start a sentence. You don't have to fill out all of them. They're literally just prompts to get your brain going of how to take something and put it into a sentence. Things like, a lot of blanks struggle with, we or I are struggling with. It's really easy for something to happen. And then once that's done, go ahead and write down the problem part of the mission statement. How's it going? We're wrapping up the problem portion. Who has a mission statement, or even the raw, like, hey, we're close, if we just dial it in. Who has one that they're excited to share, or that they could be cajoled into sharing? Cajoled is a good word. Thank you. I talked to a few of you. There's a lot of good ones out there. Don't make me call on you. I will call on you. We're going to do some... Who's excited? I feel like this table in the back's got some energy. Who's got some energy over there? Cece? Just the problem part. Just the problem part. Can you guys make this mic hot? Yes. You good? Ooh, nice.
Hi, everybody. Cece volunteered me. Many people struggle with building relationships and community with others.
Nice. That's awesome. I love it. That's tight. That's concise. That's great. Who else? Victoria? Right?
Yeah, I'm so excited. Thank you.
Mine is a lot of people misunderstand what worship is, which makes them uncomfortable connecting with worship through music.
I love it. That's awesome. Who else? We're on a roll, guys. Anybody else? Yeah, JD. Carolyn, right here, right here. Huh? We'll go here and then in the back.
Let me see. So many people turn to worldly pleasures to satisfy an immediate need that leaves them broken.
Dope. I love it, man. It's a great problem.
That people can't remember the joys and experiences that they learned from the past.
Great.
Nice.
Any couples feeling bold? Any couples with a joint mission statement that wants to go? George's. One of you might need to come down a little bit because the cord's not super long.
All right.
Oh, from memory. Way to go. Let's do it.
It is really easy for our lack of self-discipline to negatively impact our personal growth.
Great. That's great. That's awesome. A couple others just to inspire people. Anybody else? Do it. That's literally what we're talking about.
That's what this section is all
The
about.
whole, like, all we're talking about is the problem.
So, came a little late to the party,
You're
sorry.
good.
So, is this a problem that I see and that bothers me, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. So, the problem I see is that Christians do not listen.
Dope. Does the class clown want to go next? Mr. Dubé? One over here. The cord might not reach. You might need to come a little bit halfway.
Too often, people feel helpless and powerless in times of stress or hard seasons, causing doubt or bad decisions,
Yeah, they do. Oh, I cajoled you into it?
I am cajoled.
I get cajoled as
A lot of people are disconnected from God and healthy church community.
Great. Yes. Disconnected is a great word. Lainey?
Roger, we have very similar ones, but mine was that too many people are displaced and struggle to get connected with God and people.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes you guys allies. Alex, behind you, Galen.
Yeah, a lot of people are in denial about the situation in their life, and they're trying to compare themselves to others. And too often, people are lost in lies and excuses with sprinkles of purpose.
Sprinkles of purpose. Sprinkles of purpose.
Those sprinkles. Wow. Anyone at the young table want to go? Oh yeah, Justin, you might need to come halfway at the. This one's gonna be fire. I already know.
When others and I make excuses for not growing in our faith.
Yeah. We make excuses for not growing in our faith.
So in this season, there is a lot of hurt and confusion, especially with a lot of my friends still stuck in lockdown.
There you go. Yeah. A very, very poignant. Cool. How y'all feeling? Depressed with all the problems we got? Yeah, there's a lot of problems out there, right?
Now let's solve it.
All right. So what we're going to do is, the cool part is that my hope is, and you all could prove me wrong, my hope is that was the hardest part. My hope is the rest of it is going to be a lot easier. So that's why we spent the most time on it, is because I think that was going to be the hardest part. So now what we're going to do is transition into talking about what we can do about the problem, what you can do about the problem, what's your marriage. And probably, like, y'all are smart people, you probably already been thinking about it and jotting down stuff of, like, why you're well-positioned to do it. So now from those prompts and the first part, we're going to go through 3 prompts, and then there's some example sentences, and then we're going to work on writing down the solution. It might only take like 5 or 10 minutes to do this. Wave if you need help. We'll kind of let y'all go unless you need help. Just wave and let us know. So here are the 3 prompts. What can you do, or what would you like to do about the problem that you stated? Prompt 2. What are 1 or 2 small steps that you can take to support this? And then number 3, is there anything that you or your family is uniquely positioned to do to solve this problem? If not, what skills might you need to acquire? So once you got those 3 jotted down, it's time to put it into a sentence, and there's some examples. In our family, our family seeks, I seek. For the next blank amount of time, we will. In our family, we welcome such and such. During this season, I will, for example. So go ahead.
And don't feel tied to those sentence formats. They're designed to be helpful, but not boxes for you to stay in for your sentence. If you're
you got freedom.
You got freedom.
But not
You
too
got
much freedom. Just
No
I
boxes.
got my eye
No
on
boxes.
you. So then below that, you're going to rewrite the problem just so that they're concise together. Bonus points if you can eliminate words. Some of y'all's were very tight, so you might not be able to. But if you can, try to eliminate some words the second time you write it so that you can get it a little bit more concise. How's it going? Good?
All right.
Okay, Gisella's really excited, so we're going to have her start us off. Repeat your problem and then go to the second part. So I read what you wrote. Yeah, so what's the problem? What are you doing about it? You're good. I'm just going to stay on that so it doesn't pull off stage.
All right.
Yes?
Yeah, can you be
Oh, are you shy?
I'm glad you're applauding before I share, because...
We applauded at your name. Like that's...
Okay, so, and I'm sorry if this is offensive, I can tweak it. So, Christians can be deaf ears. I will model and encourage being a listening Tigger.
I'm into that. I'm into that.
As a mom of toddlers,
Victoria?
I really appreciate the Winnie the Pooh reference. That's very applicable to my life. Thank you. Yes. Okay, next volunteer.
Carolyn, Victoria, right here.
Yeah.
So I struggle with communication, so this has to do with that. The problem is a lot of people misunderstand what worship is, which makes them unconnecting with worship through music. And I'm going to seek out help to become a better communicator, to communicate about worship.
That's awesome. I'm into that. Who else? Who else is excited, wants to share? George's.
I saw a finger getting pointed at you.
I saw
Does that
someone
mean
point
that
at
you-
Harlan, and then he shrugged. Oh, Cece just got voluntold.
Many people struggle with building relationships. We will welcome others into our homes so that we can pour into their lives.
I'm into that. Good. Who else? Anyone else really passionate? Anyone from the... All right. I love this guy's energy.
Sorry, I was. A lot of people can't remember their past joys and experiences to learn and cherish. So, to fix that, I will photograph and video all the special moments.
So in this season, there is a lot of hurt, confusion, and loneliness with my friends. In the next month, I will intentionally reach out to my core friends in my free time, wherever they are, in whatever format, be it online, on phone, or in person. Yeah.
I love it. That literally means that him talking to his friends is on mission. Like, that's awesome.
In my mind, I'm focused on God, but in reality, I regularly get distracted by worldly things. So I'm going to ask my brothers in Christ to help me to internalize the fact that God's forever and this world's temporary.
I'm into that. One or two more? Anyone else want to get voluntold? How are you guys feeling? So we can either do a break now, like a 15-minute break, give your brains a rest, and then tackle the last part, or we can just push through, do the third part, and then take a break between the two big sections. Would you rather break now or break in about 15 minutes? Yes. Do you want to push? Show of hands for push through. Push through. All right.
Okay.
So let's do this.
Oh, the energy. That's so good.
All right. So we're moving on to part 3, which is the outcome. All right, part 3, the outcome. What the future can look like after your mission is accomplished. Because the problem is being addressed, this is what the future can look like. The outcome is the kind of world you're working toward, whether that's internally or externally. This is the goal of the mission. Use the prompts below to get started. A lot of you are probably already thinking, so now we're talking about like articulating, and you may have already articulated. Just go ahead and write it. If you need help with this, let us know. 3 questions. What happens as a result of the problem being overcome? What bad outcome is being avoided by accomplishing your mission? Holding evil at bay is a perfectly fine outcome. Don't feel like you have to be like, so that everyone can, like, you can do that if you want, but so that nobody feels disconnected is holding a bad thing at bay, which means you are standing in the gap between that bad thing and it occurring. What do the Avengers do? They stand in the gap, right? Like, that's literally what your life is going to be about, is standing in the gap to make sure that bad thing doesn't happen. And then the third thing, why does it matter? This may not make it into the final thing, but you need to remember why it matters. You need to remember that it's important, all right? Take some time if you want to keep the music, and then mute us, and then we will take some time, finish the last part. If you need help, raise your hand, flag, and we'll come around and help. Who's got a completed mission statement they're excited to share before we go to break? Yeah. There you go.
So my personal mission statement. So many people turn. This is the whole thing, right?
Go for it. The whole thing.
Is it? Okay. So many people turn to worldly pleasures to satisfy an immediate need that leaves them broken. I choose to devote time to spend personally with others, either in my house or elsewhere, listening to, relating to, understanding, caring, and loving them, so that I can guide them towards a new and better source of satisfaction, one that is eternal in our Lord Jesus Christ.
I'm into that. Do I think you could eliminate probably 20% of those words? Maybe. But the point, like, if it's memorable, if you can remember that and your brain is capable of like holding all of that, go for it. My brain has a hard time remembering the entire train, so you could probably cut that by 20 to 40% and be fine. So a cool exercise now is like, hey, how can I rephrase this longer sentence into a shorter sentence? How can I eliminate 5 more words? Because whoever says the most things to the fewest words wins. Cool. Who else? Yeah. I'm trying to keep a distance from here.
In this season, I find it easy to make excuses for not growing with God. I will improve my diet for motivation and portion my day properly for time in Scripture. This will ensure my stability, which will lead others to being grounded in their faith.
Nice, man. like it. Someone pointed over here. Yes. Annie. Whoop.
Sorry. We're so close. Mine is for an individual. So I struggle trusting God and have doubts about who he is and if he really wants a relationship with me. I can keep searching for him and wait for him to reveal himself to me. I will find community and by reaching out to friends, finding a home church, make space to hear his voice in my quiet time so that I can fulfill and trust and confidently step into his purpose for my life, which will reduce my anxiety and give me hope and so that I can be one with God.
Oh, that's exciting.
You should meet Gisela. She's the Tigger.
Are you raising a
Was
hand
that a
or are
hand
you
raise or a stretch?
stretching?
Either way, you're
Ooh,
next.
Okay, we'll pick you.
I love this guy's mission.
A lot of people can't remember their past joys and experience to learn and cherish. So I will capture the special moments in time through video and photography so that others and I can see and remember all the splendor of this world that God has made and see that life is worth living to the fullest. Cherish every moment.
I love it.
You know how easy it'd be to just be like, oh, I take pictures. It's a hobby. It's not a hobby, man. It's a mission. It's a mission. It's not a hobby. It is a mission.
That's good. Lainey?
So many people are displaced and struggle to connect with God and others. In this season, I will prioritize relationships with college students and the homeless so that people can have physical, emotional, and spiritual needs met through community.
I couldn't improve that if I wanted to. Like, that is so nice. That is so tight. Over here.
I'm focused on following God in my mind, but not in practice. I'm going to internalize the fact that God is forever and this world isn't, so I can be equipped to bend to God's will, not mine.
Amen.
Yeah.
Simon?
Sorry, I didn't see it.
Okay, here's the full version. In this season, there's a lot of hurt, confusion, and loneliness amongst my friends. In the next month, I will intentionally reach out to my core friends in my free time, wherever they are, via whatever platform, so my friends and I can grow together in our relationships and in Christ.
Amen.
And the too long didn't read version is some of my friends are confused, hurt, and lonely. I will intentionally reach out to them so they may grow together in Christ. There you go.
Love
That's
it.
great.
We did good job to summarize. That's really good.
I love the TLDR version. That's great. Too long didn't read. Great. Let's do like 5-minute break, refill coffee, go to the restroom, get some bagels, get some donuts, and then we're going to regroup. Maybe like 5 minutes, and then we'll come back. There's some cool application pieces in the next section that I'm excited to get to, so we'll just do a quick 5-minute break, bathroom, and then come back, okay? All right, break.
Now that you guys have these amazing mission statements, and I was just telling Emily, I was like, I have had goosebumps so many times today. This is so exciting. Now we get to put it into action. So turn to the page that says putting your mission into action so that this great mission and vision that you just figured out for your life doesn't dissipate. It actually happens. Now we heard this, the first statement in here, we heard it at Faith Walkers 2019, I believe,
Yes.
right? It was before COVID, right? So that's 2019.
2020,
yeah.
no one saw coming.
Where we were going to have 2020 vision, right?
And no one saw COVID?
Whoop.
Come
on. So I'm going to attribute this statement to that. God has a plan for you and your family, and Satan does too. If God has a plan for your family, Satan does too. But Satan's schemes are not new, and he often attacks us in similar ways. So to prepare in advance, we're going to take some time to identify what you have to overcome to accomplish your mission. What is going to hold you back? How is Satan wanting to attack you to hold you back? And what we have found in our lives is sometimes they're really sneaky things, like dehydration, you guys. Dehydration. We get crabby, and we're crabby to each other if we're dehydrated. So if we're in like a little tiff and we need to have some communication exercises going on in our marriage, we need to get a big glass of water first.
If I'm in a bad mood and I don't know why, 2 glasses of water, 15 minutes, 9 times out of 10 it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually dehydration.
Sometimes if you haven't been eating well, you might just have poor nutrition. Like, I don't remember if it was Elijah or Elisha, but he was really whiny and he said, I just want to die. And God said, go to sleep and eat some food. And like the next day, he was much more ready to accomplish his mission. So I'm not joking. Like, some of these are just really sneaky and practical. And it's good to just take an audit of your life and think, where am I lacking here? Is there something sneaky that's holding me back? So we put down a couple of ideas. It could be the physical category, dehydration, poor sleep, sickness, nutrition. It could be financial. If you're struggling with your money management skills, if you're not budgeting, then that could be holding you back. Spiritual disciplines, relational disciplines like communicating well, taking the initiative in your friendships, being a good listener, forgiving people, and not living in bitterness are all things that, if not done, could hold you back from your mission. Your emotional health, like being anxious and not addressing it, and not speaking to the lies that are making you anxious, and not living in truth. And then self-control, self-discipline, doing what you had planned, avoiding delayed gratification at all costs. These are all things that could really hinder you. And so, and then we put some blank spaces there too. So as you think about your mission, go through and circle some of the suggestions and write down what you're thinking of that might be holding you back from accomplishing it. And then you can move on to the next section too, where it says daily actions. Small and consistent habits have an incredibly powerful effect over time. So as you think on that list above, the things that are going to be that could hold you back, identify 3 small but consistent actions that either support or distract you from being the kind of person who accomplishes your mission. So each day I try to do these 3 things, and each day I try to avoid these 3 things. So first you make that list of the things that would be attacking your mission, and then you make the list of 3 things that you're going to try to do, and 3 things that you'll try to avoid. Cool. Sound okay? Any questions on that page? Yeah. Yes, Richard. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the things for us was needing to, for the daily actions or for like the category one? Yeah, so the daily actions, we ended up doing 3. So it was pray consistently. For me, it's write consistently. And then one of the things that I don't do is I don't keep secrets. That's just a thing that I'm not allowed to do. I don't keep secrets.
For the hospitality in our home, like every week we try to say, who are we going to invite over this week? Who are we going to have over for dinner? Or who am I going to call or text with or have a Zoom meeting with? Kind of COVID friendly, like kind of figuring that out. But who are we going to host this week or this month? And then based on our schedule, we try to do that a couple of times a month.
So we're probably not going to go around and share just for the sake of time. So if you want to just take a couple minutes and jot those down, and then we'll move on to the next one, which does more with the kind of big picture goal setting. Like, hey, on a weekly basis or a monthly basis or an annual basis, what are actions that we need to be doing? So we'll just take a couple minutes and jot those down. If there's anything that's keeping you from accomplishing your mission in those categories, and then things that come to mind that you can do each day, and things that you avoid each day. Okay, so this next part is putting actions on your calendar. Literally, I am of the opinion that if it is not on your calendar, it is not a priority. Your calendar reflects your priorities because it's things that you are dedicating time to. And time is the most valuable resource you've ever been given. So what you plan to spend your time on is very indicative of your value system. So you want to understand your values, look at your calendar. Look at where you're spending your time, and that will tell you what you value. So, so this next part is when on my calendar, and you can literally pull out your calendar and put it on dates now if you want to. Am I going to take the time to grow in these key areas? There's a really good book. The last page of this packet is called Recommended Reading. The first book on there is called Atomic Habits. I don't get paid to rep this book. I just will do it till the day I die. It's a great book. Atomic Habits, like if you are looking for habit changes in your life, buy it, give it away, listen to it. It's Atomic Habits by a guy named James Clear. The Power of Habit is another big one in the habit book world. It's good, but it's very academic in my opinion. This one is insanely practical. And it's if you take small steps consistently, they have disproportionate effects over time. Fantastic book, easy read, very, very life-changing. So this is kind of built on that. So in order to accomplish this mission, I will need to blank. And then you circle, this is something I'm going to do daily, weekly. Look, if we're going to accomplish our mission, we need to be hosting people, weekly or monthly. Like we need to have people in our home if we're hosting people. And that means that if there's people in the church, if there's people in the home group that we haven't had over, we need to make a hit list of people that we're inviting over. Because in our family, we host people, right? Because that's where the ministry happens. That's where the mission gets accomplished. In our family, we seek out broken people, or we seek out international students. Well, how frequently are you spending time in places where international students are? Daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually? So then who's going to hold me accountable? If you've got a spouse in this, you already got your accountability right there. If you've got a friend that you're willing to, if you've got brothers or sisters in Christ that'll hold you accountable, jot down their name, and that's who you're running with. And then it can split into different milestones too. So like, hey, we want to be hosting people once a month or twice a month. Okay, milestone 1 is we need to be, if we're hosting 2 people, we probably need to be inviting 3 or 4 people, right? Or we need to have a list of people. So milestone 1 is we need to invite people. Milestone 2 is like we might need to actually plan like what kind of things are we hosting. What do we need games that we're doing? Do we have conversations? Do we need to get better at small talk and conversation in our house? Or for us, it was being able to move the kids into one room. So that was a milestone for us to be able to say, hey, we combined the kids' rooms. We now have an extra room to be able to host people and have them stay the night. So that's that part. And then the last piece is naming the values, which is the second to last page. Do you want to talk to that part?
Yeah, I will. Thank you. One other note I want to make on accomplishing the mission, though, is sometimes what you need to do to accomplish the mission is continuing education. So, like if you're, for example, if you're a photographer or a videographer, yeah, you might want to be like continuing your education in that field to be growing your. Yeah, he's got it. He's ready. You're continuing your education in that field so that you are refining your skills and becoming more of an expert the more you go. If you're in the counseling field or the teaching field, then you're reading books. You're seeking out people who are already good at what you want to be good at and being discipled by them. So some of your steps to do that might be in that continuing education field, or like looking for someone to be discipled by who already has what you want. Yes, and then naming your values. I'm pretty sure we stole this idea from Frank when he did the dating series maybe a year ago, and he was talking about rules in relationships and how it's way more impactful to be guided by values, by being the person you want to be with your values, rather than being guided by a bunch of rules. So thinking about your mission statement, identify the things that you have to value in order to accomplish your mission. This is not a thesis of the only things that you value in your life, because your mission might be really specific on this one thing. It could be a seasonal mission where you're attacking it for like the next 3 months. So it's not going to be the only thing that you value for your life, but these values should be about the mission statement that you wrote today. The values that would help you accomplish this specific mission.
Because it's
and-
easy to just like Jesus, or like the inspiration of Scripture. Like if that's part of your mission, write it. If it's not, don't feel like you have to, because that's the right answer. The right answer is looking at this mission. What are the things I would have to value highly in order to accomplish it? And that's what you're writing down.
So if it's like with people, if you're specifically focusing on working with people, you know, you could be valuing kindness.
Community.
You could be valuing community. You could be valuing
Evangelism.
being an empathetic listener.
Arts.
Valuing art, yeah, as some examples felt like that. Yeah, any questions? Okay.
Cool. Let's do 5 minutes on the nose, and then we get about 10 minutes to wrap, final thoughts, and then and all that. So we're gonna do 5 minutes on the nose, and we'll have about a 10-minute buffer to wrap. Okay. Cool. Guys, I am excited. Like, life has a way of lulling us to sleep. And that is just the fact. Like, life has a way of lulling us to sleep. But, like, when God's people hear God's voice and move toward where he's leading us, a lot of cool things can happen. And one of the neatest things that I'm excited to see is this habit of every time you encounter a problem, your knee-jerk reaction is, what do we do about it so that what can happen? What value is being compromised? Like, anytime you encounter a problem, anytime you hear problems, anytime you smell problems, you get to put it in the context of, this is a problem that I can see, this is what is possible to be done about it so that this kind of outcome can happen. And like God's people getting in the position of recognizing that problems are not defeating. God has not led us to a position where we're just defeated and the world is what it is and nothing can be done about it. Like, he's put us here as change agents. We are literally his hands and his feet. And when Jesus encounters a problem, God shows up. So I'm really, really excited about it. Yeah, so thank you. Any final thoughts before we pray and close out? Thank you to Carolyn. Thank you for doing this with me. We've never taught side by side before, so
Yeah, thank you guys for being patient.
I'm really glad.
I just wanted to thank you guys for your vulnerability.
Yeah.
And for being so open in a group. And you know, not everybody of you know, not all of you know each other. And I just thank you guys for your transparency and your honesty and coming and walking through this with all of us. I really appreciate you guys showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amen. I'll pray and then we'll close out, and you guys have a great one. You're welcome to hang out. If you brought lunch, you can hang out, eat lunch here, go to lunch together, like whatever you want to do. Heavenly Father, thank you for today. I just pray that your will would be done here. I pray that things that have changed here, things that we've seen, that we would be faithful in action. I just ask that it would not stop at a good idea, a good feeling, a good plan, and then it just sits on the back shelf. I just pray that we would be a people who, when we encounter a problem, we think about what you're doing and what the opportunity is of what can be upheld. So we love you, God. We do not want to be lulled to sleep. We want to be active and awake. We want to keep moving toward where you're leading us, and we want to see your kingdom come. We pray all of this in Jesus' name. Amen.